The Wisconsin Badgers get a big one. Jaden Pettit changes the class. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Herrings. Thank you for tuning in, being a big part of this community. Jaden Pettit's a Badger, commits to the Badgers. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about who he is, what he brings, how big this commitment is. And this is just a massive one. And someone the Badgers have been on for a long time, Jaden Pettit, a 6'4", 195, 200-pound receiver coming out of Naples, Florida, composite four-star. This is a four-star receiver from Florida. How often have you talked about something like that coming to Wisconsin? Picked up offers along the way from Missouri, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Florida, Notre Dame. I think Florida State was in there, and you could go on and on the list. That's among many, many others. This is a massive pickup for the Badgers. Absolutely massive pickup for the Badgers. Let's fire the cannons and let's talk about it. This is a big, big one that we've talked about for a long time here, so we definitely got to fire the cannons on this one.
Fire the recruiting cannons. Another one is headed to Madison on Wisconsin.
That is so loud on my end, that cannon. I don't know if the mic picks it up. This is a massive get. Let's put the film up here. I think Justin's going to try to join. I might just throw the link in the chat too. I know Coach Mack is in there wanting to talk about it. Let's throw the film up. Let's talk about what Pettit brings to the field. First of all, the first thing that stands out, and I talked to a recruiting scout today, not affiliated with the Badgers, and the first thing he said was size. Just big, massive size for the receiving spot. Listed at 6'4", and it's a long wingspan, 6'4", big-bodied kid, and that really plays in the open field. When you see him catch the ball, he is a load to bring down. And part of being a difficult guy to bring down is he fights for extra yards. Like, he really, really has that intangible in him. He's spinning off people. He's difficult to bring down. Big time talent. Again, the size is there. And then the versatility, play from the slot, play on the boundary, contested catches. You see the ability to really snag difficult receptions with his frame and his wingspan and his toughness. This is also the type of guy, you think about a Jeff Grimes offense, you think about physical players, right? The ability to, if you necessarily block on the edge, he has the potential to be an elite type blocker on the edge. This is a big get for Wisconsin. If you're in the chat right now, let us know how you feel. Coach Mack says, this is the one I was excited for. Just got done watching his tape. Let's see. Says, great whole field vision as a receiver, great run blocking. Route running is raw, but the ability to get skinny on post through traffic and his speed out looked really nice. And he's also playing down in Florida. Like, you see him in some of these clips outrun angles. You see him in some of these clips. I don't think he's not a traditional 4.3, 4.4 burner, but he's got long speed. I think it's a little deceptive. And then you pair that with his ability to be quick out of the slot. You pair that with his hands. You pair that with his size. This is a massive get. And there's a reason this is a 4-star, top 200-ish type player in the country. You don't get many of these at Wisconsin. I mean, think about receiving classes the last 5-10 years. Who does he compare to? You got to really think hard to find another Wisconsin receiver coming out of the high school ranks that had this type of physical skill set. There's not many of them. Connor Schmidt says, bang, sound the cannons. Let's go, Connor. Kate Berry says, bang, bang, orangutan. Kate's great people, man. Always in the chat. Tim Gilbert, let's go. Mitch Ames says, yes. Greg Lincecum says, bro. Andrew says, welcome to Madison on Wisconsin. Craig Lead, now go get Lattimore, and you have skilled guys for a couple years. This is a blue chipper. Right? This changes the class. This elevates the class. This is the type of win Wisconsin has needed to get in this class. They've stockpiled a lot of really good players, one of whom I'm going to be talking to later today, and they'll be on the show tomorrow, so you're going to want to look forward to that one. But this is a national level win. This is a win against Blue Bloods. This is not a type of player that's a 4-star, but he doesn't have the offers to back it up. We always talk about, when we do our end-of-year recruiting show, does the film check? Yeah, for Pettit, the film checks. Does the offer list check? Yeah, the offer list checks. Does the measurables check? Do they check? Yeah, they check too. He checks all the boxes. And for an offense that wants to run the ball and then take deep shots with play action, bro, this is a prototype. This is guys like Jaden Ballard, Vinny Anthony. These are kind of prototype receivers for Jeff Grimes in this offense. This is a massive get for the Badgers. By the way, I'm going to put my link in the if anybody wants to just jump on and talk about this win, I'm going to throw that link in the chat. I know Coach Mack was asking about it. So if you want to jump in, man, jump in this and let's talk about this together. This is going to be a quicker show, not a long show. We'll probably talk about this more tomorrow because that's how big this win is. But massive get. Big Mac says yes. Yeah, Jordan Reed. Let's talk about Jordan Reed. Connor Schmidt brings up receivers coach Jordan Reed. And one of the things we talked about with Jordan Reed, as coach is joining in here, coach, one of the things we talked about with Jordan Reed was younger, personable, and the ability for both guys like him and Guyton to be pluses on the recruiting trail. This is a massive win, coach.
It's huge. I mean, it's so great. Like, this kid is 6'4". I mean, granted, the announcement of him committing to Wisconsin said he was 220 pounds. I'm wondering where that 30 pounds came from all of a sudden in one season. But he has a frame. He has, like I said, the full field vision. He sees everything. I'm watching his clips. He gets skinny on the post. He seeks between those two D-backs in the middle of the field. He sees when his quarterback's in trouble, he goes to the center of the end zone and snags the ball. He goes up for contested catches. And then the dog mentality, the run blocking, the pushing a guy right out of bounds. Like, I think they must have had beef or something that entire game going on because you don't see that a lot from wide receivers. He manhandled them. The speed, I think it'll be something that comes. He is from Florida. Obviously, there's a lot of speed down there, so we can't judge it off of what he's playing against. But, come on, 6'4". Like, this is what we've been wanting, that outside guy, and we finally got it.
And you mentioned the dog in them. You know where else that shows up? And I talked about it in the beginning of the show. Some people, they catch the ball and they go down. And then some people fight like hell for every single yard.
Absolutely.
I love that part.
You can see ability to break tackles. Yeah, he's breaking tackles. He's doing jet sweeps on the from the slot position. Like, yes, he is 6'4". He's in Florida, though. We're not talking about just some, we're not talking about playing in Idaho. Nothing against Idaho, if there's any Idaho fans out there. But, like, come on. This is Florida. You're running a jet sweep like that. You are breaking 3-4 tackles on your way. Like, this play right here. That's a little bit of speed right there. Mm-hmm. That gets me excited on a play action come out of the Grimes offense. That's what I want to see.
He's a long strider, too. Like, that speed builds up, and you can see him outrun some angles where it feels like players they underestimate how his speed builds up over time.
So I was watching after about I think the fourth or fifth time I was going through his film. I was watching his stance. There's a couple times, like, there's certain things that the receiver coach is going to be able to fix, such as he had a false start on a couple of plays, which led off with the wrong foot, fine. But you can see throughout the film, and I'm guessing it's throughout the year as it got better, because he didn't start with a great clip right off the bat. It's just periodic. His stance gets a little bit better. He gets that front knee over that front foot to make sure he's coming off that rear foot and taking off. The screens, the smoke screen passes. The fact that he just drops back, he can break 3-4 tackles and go. Like, that is what we need on the outside. We have all the slot receivers in the world with Wisconsin. We need those outside guys, because once Ballard's gone this year, you need somebody like Pettit to come in. Yeah, he's going to be raw, but you can build something out of that.
I think he can play even situationally this year, but I think you pencil him in next year, ideally. I think you pencil him in as the Ballard replacement. And the other thing that's interesting, and then we got to take a quick break, but him lining up in the slot, you actually see some foot quickness out of him too for a 6'4" guy. Like, a lot of guys can't do that at that height.
No, because they're like little, we call them baby giraffes. They're trying to learn how to walk with their legs still with all that size. So, yeah, it's the kid. Now, that's the one that one play right there. We need to work on hands, obviously. To see that hand, the ball come out as hot as it did, him bobble it, but then still recover and catch the ball. That's the one thing that I can nitpick on this at all. I mean, he's going to be a senior. This is junior film. He's got another year to play. He'll figure it out. And we get the coaches there, I think, that can do it.
Can I tell you, he could drop every ball in this film and you still offer him a scholarship because he's a 6'4" guy that can go up and high point it, right? And
Wisconsin has a jugs machine.
Yes,
you can figure it out. They got a jugs machine.
All right, we're going to pause here because we got to come back. We got to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and talk about I want to ask Coach, and in the chat as well, is there a Wisconsin receiver this reminds you of? Is this the best receiver recruit get they've gotten since Nick Toon, Cephas, Danny Davis? Where does he rank on that plus your comments coming up next, Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show. Celebrating a big win for the Badgers recruiting staff here. We're getting Jaden Pettit to Wisconsin. Today's episode brought to you by our good friends over at Gametime. Listen, if you're eventually assuming we're going to want to see Jaden Pettit in Camp Randall, Gametime is a great way to do that. Right now, go over to Gametime, get tickets to all your sporting events, get tickets to concerts, theater, Broadway musicals, whatever it is. It's all available over on Gametime. It is the best place to buy a ticket. And there's nothing better than coming together with your friends, your family, come together on Gametime, buy those tickets, watch the games in person. You get great seats, no logistical battles. The tickets come to your email, better prices. I've used this service. It's awesome. I used this service on my way to a game and had the tickets in my inbox before I got out of the Uber. Gametime's incredible. Download the Gametime app today. Take the stress out of buying tickets with Gametime. Use code LOCKEDONCollege and you get $20 off. Terms to apply. Again, create an account on your first purchase. Again, create the account, reading code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, let's come back into this. Talk about a little more about Ballard, who he might remind us of. We got Coach jumping the show, Coach McKinney. Coach, who does this guy remind you of for a Badger recruit? Oh, you're muted. Or I'm muted.
No, I'm muted. Me, because of recency, I got dogs right outside my door. German Shepherd just wants back in here. I got to go in like a Nick Toon. Like it's Tunes for me because I'm a year 2003 and after Badgers fan. So I can't go any before that. But we always have like these smaller receivers. And I'm so used to having it. Like I love my pedestal is Jared Abadaris, obviously. But for me, it's this, if this kid lives up to the hype from what we see on film, from his size, he kind of falls into that Toon category. That's what I think.
I love that one. By the way, we got Doc in the chat. Doc's a great dude. He says, look, 14 commitments before July. There were some people getting a little worried. I think maybe even myself included in that, but he is right. This is a massive get. Yeah, and I like the Toon one. I think you go back and you look at Toon. Toon was listed at 6'3" on Wisconsin's website. The combine, he came in at 6'2". Pettit is listed at 6'4" now, but you and I both know high schools. They always average.
And I was jumping around too from 24/7 Sports and On 3 and 24/7 both have him listed at 6'4". So he's maybe 6'3 and a half. They rounded up that half inch. I mean, it's just like how when they announced he committed, he's 220 pounds all of a sudden when he's 195 on every other tracker you can find him on. So yeah, they're going to round that up a little bit, but I mean, come on. I'll take a 6'3 and a half receiver that runs the way he does. That I saw somebody said in the comments too, can he block? Yeah, he will block. He's shown it on film. He will block. So when you get that kind of a guy who can get vertical, who can run those over and those crossing routes, can run those skinny posts, run those quick smoke screens to the outside receiver. Yeah, I want this kid on my team every day of the week.
And Family Man Ty says, I was just talking bad about this class. Good. Thumbs up. You got to get Latimer and Ford still. I still feel good about Latimer, but that's for a different show. And Ford is Jackson Samuels Ford, the defensive end. Dude, you look at him too, and you pair him with some of the other young pieces, Eugene Hilton.
Yeah. Dude. I mean, some of these slot guys, and then now your younger tight ends, like this is starting to take a certain shape now. We're seeing it where, yes, with the RVO, we're going to run the ball, but no, we're getting those players now. We're recruiting those players that are going to come in and be able to catch the ball and make a play afterwards. So that way, when Vinny Anthony leaves and everybody else is gone, Tretch is gone. Like, no, these young guys are going to be able to step up. So I'm excited. Like this is, I mean, you were sounding the cannons. I think I was doing it about 5 minutes before you put up the live. I'm like fired up over here. Like, oh, I'm waiting for the show to go live because I knew it was coming.
We got great people in chat, man. Jake Iannaro is a phenomenal dude. Funny as heck. I love him. We got John, Will Hanna's in there, Dennis Reynolds, Doc's in there, Bo Dragon's in there. We got some great people in the chat. The other thing we talked about a lot, but I don't think you can underestimate the impact just nationally. You get a guy like Pettit. Like this is a guy you beat Oklahoma for this receiver among others.
And Miami of all places too. Like you nailed it. Like this is a blue chip guy. This resets the class, the score of the class for the school. This is a guy who can make other kids open their eyes up too and go, Why am I not thinking Wisconsin? What made him choose Wisconsin? I want to reach out to him now.
Yeah.
So this is a ripple effect. This is good. This is really good for the offensive side. Defensive, we're doing pretty good recruiting over there. With that offensive side, this is really good for it.
And let me ask you this too. Who's the last Wisconsin receiver you can think of that was great after the catch? I mean, really, really elite after the catch. Because I think Pettit has the ability to be that. You throw him the little 7-yard, out or the screen, and I think he can break 2 tackles and just run over a safety.
See, I'm biased. To me, it's still Jared Aberdarius because Jared could do it. I mean, granted, for that 1 year, he had a Russell Wilson, which definitely helped get the ball there. But he could make those moves. It wouldn't be a double move, break 2 tackles. He'd make 1 move, break tackle. He's an NFL guy, so he could do it. But to me, that's it. Like, he is because of my fanage. Even Nick Toon. Nick Toon was good at it too, but Jared just seemed to like have a little more shake. So to me, it's still Jared.
David Frankie says momentum builder for the class. Will Hanna says he's better than Nick Toon.
I want that to be true. I want that to be true. Absolutely. I'm with you, Will. I want that to be true.
And Will's awesome, man. Will knows ball. Nick Toon, so just to reset, Nick Toon, you're talking about a 4th-round NFL receiver, a really good player, maybe plays against Ohio State. I do think Pettit's a little bigger than Toon. I think Pettit's a little bigger and maybe a touch faster. Now, Toon had great hands, and it worked. Pettit still has to put those tools to practice, but I think the ceiling's probably a little higher with Pettit than Toon.
Oh, absolutely. Ceiling's higher. I mean, this is a 4-star recruit walking in your door right now. That's that size and that speed. Yeah, I would say that for sure.
We gotta kind of wrap this up quickly because I actually had a show pre-scheduled at 6. And it's with somebody that I don't want to.
No, can't do that.
But I do want to ask any final thoughts here, man, before we wrap up. Any other final thoughts in the chat? Winning Gambler says LeGray, Bardo, Pettit, probably the best receiver class ever at Wisconsin. Now, I'm going to clip that. Winning Gambler, that's a great question, a great thought. I'm going to go back and look, and we'll do a show on that because, gosh, maybe. I mean, on paper.
Could be.
Maybe. Although, do you guys remember the Darian Watkins, Natrell Jamerson, George Rushing class? On paper, that was pretty good too. Yeah, exactly. Coach is like, yeah, I don't remember that one. Yeah,
that was, I think, before my time. But now, going back to Pettit's film now, though, too. I mean, we talked previously about quarterbacks, right? These guys can get out of the pocket. They can make plays when the line breaks down. Look at Pettit's film. There's 5 minutes of it. I challenge anybody to look at it because pocket breaks down, the quarterback scrambles. Pettit finds a way to find that open area on a scramble drill and get the ball delivered to him. That's huge.
By the way, let me take that even a step further because I love that point. And then again, I got to get out of here. And we'll do more, I promise you guys. But we wanted to talk about it because we've been really excited about this commit. And Justin is racing home to try to jump in for 1 minute of this. We'll talk more with Justin for sure, too. Look at the quarterbacks we've gotten. You talked about the scramble drill stuff. Carter Smith, Ryan Hopkins. You have those guys bouncing around in the pocket, and then you have a player like this that potentially can get behind the defense, and you can just kind of chuck it up to him. This is the guy that when you have him one-on-one, you feel okay taking a chance on a jump ball, a 50-50 ball, because it's not a 50-50 ball with guys like this.
Nope, 70-30 ball with the guy like this. You get him trained up right, it's going to turn into an 80-20 ball easily. So the quarterbacks can get it there. They can make the play happen when the pocket breaks down.
And we'll end on that one. Will Hanna says, wrong Toon comparison for the 75th time. It's Altoon.
Altoon's good too. Yes. I was talking recently though. That's why I said Toons. When I did say it the first time, Toons, both of them.
I love it. He is coach, man. Thank you for impromptu jumping in. We got 160 people in the chat today. Thank you all for jumping into this. This has been awesome. Huge get for the Badgers, and we are definitely going to be talking a ton more about this. Tune in tomorrow, and another member of this 2026 class is going to be on the show. We'll talk to him today, and that show's going to drop tomorrow. So on Wisconsin, and we will definitely talk to you guys later.